When Christina Osterk welcomed her 17th child, it proved too overwhelming for her husband, Gallup, who left the family. 2 decades later, an unexpected turn of events left him astonished. Christina's life was marked by a fervent love for cooking, a passion that blossomed in her early years. As soon as she was of working age, she embarked on a culinary journey through various fast food establishments until she landed a position at a pizza restaurant. There, her enthusiasm and skill flourished. Starting from basic kitchen duties, she quickly ascended to the role of head chef by the age of 22. Under her creative guidance, the restaurant's pizzas gained widespread acclaim, earning glowing reviews and making the owners feel incredibly fortunate to have her on board. However, Christina's personal life was equally demanding, filled with the joys and responsibilities of raising a family. She and her husband, Gallup, initially had 3 children and dreamt of expanding their family further. However, they faced unexpected fertility challenges, prompting them to explore surrogacy, a widely accepted option in many countries. Yet, the rapid growth of their family through surrogacy was far from typical, eventually leading to an astonishing family dynamic. Gallup had a well-paying job, so they could afford a large home and a comfortable life. He would work during the days, then come home and take care of the children, which now numbered 8. In the evenings, Christina would go out to work and not come back home until the small hours. Oftentimes, the couple would barely see each other, only to hand over the babies and have a quick conversation about them. This started to become a little bit of an issue in the relationship. Still, Christina and Gallup had a great connection, and they vowed to make more of an effort to rekindle their spark. They both cut back their hours at work and started to spend more time with each other. It was at this point that they realized that they really did love parenthood and relished in bringing up their 8 kids. That's why they decided to start adding more children to the family via surrogacy. Christina didn't feel like she was missing out on anything by not naturally giving birth. In fact, she felt like she had more to offer to them as she was ready to go from day one. So over the next few years, they added another 6 babies to their ballooning brood, bringing the grand total up to 14. Now, having that many babies is a struggle for anyone, and once again, there was a lot of strain on Christina and Gallup's relationship. They got several live-in nannies to help take the burden off, but the wear and tear of being parents to 14 children was starting to show, especially for Gallup. When his wife asked them if they should add some more children to the family, he was reluctant. Having a large family was all about happiness, and he was starting to not feel happy anymore. Still, he agreed and gave Christina his blessing to take on 3 more babies, bringing the total to 17. The cost of having so many babies was staggering. Christina and Gallup were spending about £3,500 to £4,200 per week on just the essentials for all the kids, and that's before they paid the multiple nannies that helped them out. And as well as the financial aspect, there was the struggle of finding time to raise them properly and spend time with them all. Gallup said that Christina should quit her job and look after the babies while he worked and brought in the money. After all, they would be able to survive off his wage alone. So that's what Christina did. She sadly said goodbye to the pizza restaurant and became a stay-at-home mother for her 17 children. Things were good for Christina, and she really loved being the mother to so many kids. In fact, if she had the space and the money, she would have taken care of hundreds of children if possible. But just as she started to settle into her new life and get things on track, something happened that turned her world upside down and left her reeling and heartbroken. One morning, Gallup kissed her goodbye and left for work as usual. He walked out of the door and drove away, and there was nothing out of the ordinary about any of it. But when he didn't come back home at his normal time, Christina began to get a little concerned. She waited all night long to see him walk through the door, but that moment never came. It was a little after midnight when she received a phone call. It was Gallup. She asked him where he was, worried, but when he started to reply, she felt her heart breaking and tears filling her eyes. Turned out that Gallup was no longer in love with her and that he was somewhere far away where she would never find him. He was not able to cope with the 17 children, and while he at first believed that a large and extensive family would make him happy, the truth was that he was miserable. The pressures of being a working father were far too much for him, not to mention the sheer amount of money that they were spending that was coming out of his paycheck alone. That's why he had walked away. He said she could keep the house and everything in it, but he was done, filing for divorce and walking away. Christina was beside herself with anger at Gallup, but more than that, she felt hurt, rejected, and as if their whole family life had been a lie. Christina would have been forgiven if she gave up, but actually, this sad turn of events made her even more focused on her family. She would show Gallup what a good mother she was, and she'd make him regret ever walking away from the family. She would fight tooth and nail to bring those kids up properly, and that's the attitude that Christina went forward with. Was it easy? No. Having 17 children running around the house was definitely a stressful situation, but somehow, she managed to bring each of them upright and provide them with love and attention. Luckily, she had help. The living nanny stayed by her side and assisted her in raising the children, and slowly but surely, things started to get better. Christina rekindled her love for culinary arts and seized the chance to purchase the pizza restaurant where her career began. The establishment, perfectly located, needed a strategic revival and Christina's distinctive culinary flair, especially with pizzas. As her children reached adolescence, she not only revitalized the restaurant but expanded her culinary empire to additional locations nearby. Remarkably, as her children grew, they began contributing to the family business, transforming it into a collective endeavor. This fusion of her dedication to her family and her passion for cooking led to unprecedented success. The venture not only fulfilled her personally, but also significantly increased her income, surpassing the combined earnings she and Gallup once had. Gallup, almost a distant memory, unexpectedly re-entered her life 2 decades later, stepping into her thriving restaurant. When Gallup reached out to Christina, expressing his longing and reminiscences about her and their children, his words met a frosty reception. Christina rebuffed him, labeling him a coward for deserting them. She proudly shared that their children were flourishing, pursuing careers as engineers, chefs, educators, doctors, and lawyers, all thanks to her efforts. Gallup was taken aback, having underestimated Christina and the children's capacity to prosper in his absence, realizing they had managed perfectly without him. Christina's response to Gallup's attempt at reconciliation was unequivocal. She demanded he leave the restaurant immediately, forbidding any future attempts to contact her or their children. His abandonment during their time of need had irrevocably severed any potential for a second chance. Christina had emerged as a formidable, self-sufficient matriarch, loving and raising their children single-handedly, making it clear there was no room for him in their lives anymore. Now we turn the discussion over to you. What are your thoughts on this remarkable narrative? Could you envision yourself managing the upbringing of 17 children? We're eager to hear your perspectives, so please share your views and comments below.